on, you can do it.
Oh, I can't do that.
You can do it. Come on.
This is there.
Yeah.
Means that I gotta move this there, and then I gotta go down here.
Oh, man.
But that's okay. No, I mean we were talking about professionalism in video
and not looking amateur.
And not looking amateurish at all. And I think that, we proved that right out of the gate. Hello.
How you doing?
Cheers and welcome to Having a Drink with Mink. I'm your host, Jason Mink. I'm joined as always, as often as possible anyway, by my brother Dennis.
How you guys doing?
Thanks for getting on in here
anytime.
On this hot-ass day.
Yes.
It is hot, for sure. All
yes.
right. I noticed that we're surrounded by tiny little people, and that's not just because I stopped drinking for 3 days. What exactly is this all about? God, I have stopped drinking for 3 days.
That's right. It's morbid
Human
time.
blood, anyway.
You got the human vampire, Morbius. He was a 3 1/4 inch Marvel Legend, which is funny.
A Marvel Universe.
Was it Marvel Universe?
I think that line was called. Okay. Yes, exactly.
But I picked him up because I've always been a fan. Huge fan of Morbius.
And his classic look.
Classic look, right?
Right.
I'll say the purple lining in the new movie of the jacket, the purple lining looked really good. I like the effect of how he moved. I thought that was a tremendous way to depict it. It was great. But he's here because they're here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just like let's talk about Morbius for a minute, just because people poo-pooed that movie.
Twice.
Right, exactly. Boy, the second time they really poo-pooed it. Yes, apparently it only made about $87 per theater when it was re-released.
Yeah. Poor Jared Leto, he can't catch a break.
Sony had been tricked by social media prank posts into re-releasing Morbius because Morbius was trending, from what we understand.
It was Morbin time.
Right, exactly. Kids were talking about, all this stuff that didn't actually happen in the movie and just really winding it up and making it seem even cornier than it was. I didn't mind it being corny because it's about a superhero vampire.
Yes.
I hope that they make Morbius more like a villain in future films.
Well,
and less
it was teased. If you haven't seen the movie, I guess we shouldn't spoil it, but there was a teaser at the end which kind of gives you hope for the future of the franchise.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I like the scene in the subway.
Yeah, it was very good. Very good.
That was super neat.
It just showed how he was paying more attention to the subtleties, whereas the other was not, and that
he's reveling in his power.
Well, it kind of gave him the edge because the other guy was just kind of mindlessly attacking, whereas he is, okay, how do I, figure out this situation?
He's using his science-y type mind.
The old noodle there.
Right. All right, but see, this guy, you're like, hey, this is new. Yeah. You guys are talking about a new movie. Get this guy out of here. Forget him.
It's old comics.
It's old comics, right, exactly. So these little people right here, these are MEGOs.
Yes, they are.
Talking about MEGOs on this channel.
That's a shocker.
Who would have seen that coming, right? Yeah. Now, these guys, we're going to begin with the Pocket Action Heroes.
Okay, so the Pocket Action Heroes, they were 1976.
Yes.
And they started production in 1975. That's why it'll say 1975 on the backs of these guys. And as you'll notice, they have the bent legs, which makes them different than the Pocket Heroes, right?
Right, exactly.
These are the action heroes, right? Comic action heroes. Yes. And the difference also is this fist that's supposed to be a punching fist, but... it's...
They're wanktastic figures.
They are.
It comes right down.
Kung Fu action, folks. So I have a little collection here. Not all of them are mine. The Spider-Man here is actually Jason's because my Spider-Man is a representation of the later Pocket Heroes that are straight-legged and do not have the... Kung Fu action as much.
Right, yeah, they minimize that.
Yeah,
it's just like they told Spidey to keep his hands at 10 and 2.
Right, where we can see him, brother.
Right.
I think somebody was having a little fun, when they initially made them, and Then when it went up the food chain, they realized, wait a minute, why does this figure? Although it was probably a lot of fun for the parents.
Well, what's important to remember is that MEGO went into this line with the idea that they were going to make a smaller line of figures so they could create play sets and vehicles. Now, while MEGO had created play sets and vehicles for the larger line, those had a tendency to be on the cheap side, just vinyl and cardboard, a little bit expensive, something like the Batmobile, while, it's lovely in retrospect when you look at it closely, well, it's hollow on the bottom and the figures look ridiculously undersized. Kind of like you in that car in that picture. Can we get a shot of that, Larry? I love that picture.
That's a great
awesome picture, exactly. But so they're crouched so they can actually fit in vehicles and sit on chairs and stuff. They made a Hall of Justice. No, it wasn't a Hall of Justice, technically.
It was Solitude. It was Fortress of Solitude. I don't think that was released. There were a bunch that weren't released. The Spider-Man playset that was looking amazing was not released.
Now, wasn't that like Crime Alley or something like that?
There was one side where it had a gym and they had weights for the Hulk to lift. It was very cool. It had breakaway, walls and sort of stuff. They're amazing figures. And like Marge Simpson, I just think they're neat,
Hey, Cheech, where's that wall I'm supposed to break through?
Right. I think it's over there, man.
Right.
But now, okay, yeah. Now
Pocket Hero.
Yes, Pocket Hero. Now, he does not have the original shield. And if you guys noticed, I had him in my pocket in the last video I was in. It was a very
now
busy
I have
shirt.
him in my pocket.
Yeah, Easter egg there. That shield is actually from this guy. And it fits perfectly on him. Now, if you're a collector of these, a original Captain America with the original shield, quite pricey. So his shield is a perfect stand-in. And I don't need the original shield. I think he looks amazing with that. And so, he's Sans shield, but that's okay.
Right, exactly. He can reason with his foes. You know what I mean?
Well, you could stick his arm out like he's waiting for it to come back.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Sometimes it takes a minute.
It's not an exact science.
And then here's a later version of Captain America that we figured we would just include. Actually, technically, he's earlier than this one, but later than this one, kind of in the middle here. This is a guy from the 1980s when Toy Biz first picked up the license. Oh, dear, that always happens, doesn't it? We knew it was gonna.
Well, you mentioned vehicles, so we have a few here. We have the Batmobile. Now, this one is a little hard to find. It's not too hard to find. You can find it.
What do you mean? It was right there. This is not hard to find at all. On the invisible jet. Right. Now, that's hard to find.
That is hard to find. They did make it, though. They certainly did. This, it's in really good shape, other than it's got a few cracks on the windshield, but that's battle damage,
I told you they wouldn't notice that. You don't got to point that out.
I'm honest to a fault. But you got Batman and Robin in there. And then you have the Spider car, and they did a very good job. Because all they did was they just made the mold smaller, and it's exactly the same car. This one obviously doesn't have the things on the back for the spider catcher, but to find a complete spider car is just, again, a ridiculously expensive endeavor. Even these Pocket Hero spider cars are very, very difficult to find. And when you do find a complete one, you're looking at upwards of, $300? $250?
Yeah, because usually people take these out and they mix their drinks with them. So you can't find them complete,
The good part is, even with this, you could just put this under here. And then,
Well, my idea is to eventually get a couple dowel rods for mine and a hairnet.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you could replicate that MEGO catching experience very well. Because sometimes there are characters who are just on the loose, and you can't allow that. For example, we have Woody Harrelson here. You know what I mean?
He looks like Uncle Bad Touch in that outfit, to tell you the truth. But,
he's coming over.
No, don't touch me.
He's on his way over.
Don't touch me there, Woody. Speaking of touching, we have some touching comic books we haven't looked at yet.
That is right. Now, because it is old guys who like old comics, I figured we would focus exclusively on comics featuring these characters. Characters like Spider-Man, the Hulk, Batman, Robin, Superman, and, well, you might have a little Iron Man and Aquaman in there. We'll see what happens.
All right.
Who can say right off the bat, we've got Amazing Spider-Man number 135. Now, ultimately, we're going to need to hold these, up like that, because you got to realize, no, we don't got to do it again. I'm just saying that, in the future,
Look who's smiling now.
Right, exactly. What's he smiling about? Is business school really that much of a charge,
One. That's the smile.
Oh, right, exactly. He's like, that'll get to you in 5 seconds. And then we have Captain America and Los Falcon.
Right. Falcon, you can't just stand there like that. Capture your partner. You can't let him be killed by Hyde. This is Batman. Whoosh. I love it right there. Whoosh. Here comes the rubber-headed villain. The eraser who tried to rub out Batman. Okay, we got another Batman. Now, did somebody write their name across?
Oh, yeah. Yvonne Martinsky. I have your comment.
What's up with Robin? Looks like he's 2. What is with this toddler face?
Yeah, maybe it's best not to delve into it when it comes right down to it. I'll be the death of you yet, Batman and Robin. This is Deathman, and I thought that he was a pretty exciting villain. It's just definitely showing that DC was trying to mix things up. They weren't just giving you the Joker and the Riddler over and over again. They weren't real good with the names. So. That's true, Deathman. Well, I think in Japanese it translates to Shi no Otoko. So that was pretty good at any rate, And then what's going on? Here's Detective Comics number 402. Man or Bat. Always like that logo design with the, him up there looking down. He's like, yes, I'm part of my own logo. What are you going to do about it? Nothing, Batman. I'm going to look the other way.
There you go. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. It's the Hulk. The brute battles on.
Yeah, that's a little bit of Herb Trimpe art.
I always loved the jumping, the leaping Hulk, or the dancing Hulk, as people would call him.
It's funny. I actually created an old guy's meme a little while back using that image. Fun stuff. And then
Justice League of America, will a grown-up Robin win? Oh, I remember this cover.
And then what do we got?
Oh, well, we got Marvel Tales starring Spider-Man. Now, this is the original, this is a reprinting of the original story, correct?
Amazing Fantasy number 15.
The origin of Doctor Strange also.
Oh, yeah, because, you really got your money's worth back then for 60 cents, 2 Titanic origin tale. And then
we got Hulk, like a beast at bay. And you got some Hydra agents, and they're going to have a bad time, I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't look very happy.
Right, yeah. No, his friend Jim has been wounded. And the last thing you want to do is mess with this guy's friends because, that's pretty much all he's got.
Don't mess with Jim. Detective Comics, there's a lot of Batman. Now, that is an amazing cover. Yes. That reminds me of the old 80s portraits. Do you remember when they used to put, a picture inside the head of someone else?
Oh,
Is that the Abomination?
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine going to the amusement park. You've been waiting all year.
That's amusing.
Yeah, I reckon it is.
Unless you're the one on the roller coaster.
Right, exactly. It's just like seeing these two come along would be something else. But,
Warfare in Wonderland.
This is the kind of entertainment that Marvel delivered continuously, month after month back in the day. They didn't make you think too much about it. They didn't challenge your perceptions.
Here's 2 guys fighting.
Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't that be cool?
Right.
Yes, that would be cool, Marvel. And then, speaking of Spidey and the Hulk.
There you go. Spidey super stories. I almost read that as Spidey side stories, which would have been a totally different thing.
Or Spidey soup stories.
There you go.
Yeah.
But this is an electric company joint here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When I was a kid, there were few things as thrilling as seeing Spider-Man on the electric company. Right. Because, granted, he didn't really do much Spider-Man-esque stuff.
He didn't talk, but he did stuff.
Nonetheless, it was cool to see him. You didn't. There weren't really any guest appearances by other characters, but
no Lou
just
Ferrigno's.
Seeing a guy, running around in that Spider-Man costume, got your imagination going.
Oh yeah,
cool.
Easy reader. Right. And then you got Spidey against the Molten Man.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of higher pay grades.
There you go.
Now, this is my oldest Amazing Spider-Man. This is
28.
number 28. This is the debut of the Molten Man.
It's a key.
Oh, it is a key, absolutely.
It's seen some better days, but I mean, who hasn't?
Well, that's the funny thing about this particular book is when I bought it from a dealer back in 1986, I found it in his box of stock, and as I pulled it out, I was like, oh man, really excited to have it. I'm like, is this really $3? And he's like, yeah, it's $3. If it was in better condition, I could get more for it. And I remember thinking, but it's not. So here's my $3. And I thought that I'd lost this many years ago, but it turns out that while all of my other comics had gone out the door, I had put this in a copy of Varga's Girls art book. And it was this massive, oversized book, and I kept it nice and flat.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So, I invented flattening technology in comic books as well.
He can flatten comics there, people.
Just give it a couple years, allow me to forget them.
Doc Ock lives. Oh no, is this the run where he goes and marries Aunt May?
No, that was a little bit later on. This is actually the one where he ends up killing Captain Stacy, Gwen Stacy's dad.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Stacys did not have a good run.
No, they didn't, for sure. But this is absolutely a powerful issue, and, happy to have it, because so many of my Spideys are reprints, so to have
I'm a huge
original
fan of the splits here. Amazing Spider-Man and the Hammerhead is out.
And there it is.
The Spider Car. Yeah, no, I mean, and that's, of course, it's a buggy in the comics, but this is what MEGO gave us, and
Close enough, right?
Yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah, it's pretty close.
I'm guessing most kids didn't complain.
It didn't have the Spidey, heads on the wheels or.
Sadly, they never gave us a Hammerhead figure to go with these other guys. Now, how easy would it have been to make a little suit for the Hulk and make him into the Hammerhead? Right, exactly. Hold on. He's looking flatter already.
That's right.
And then here's two of my favorite comics, Amazing Spider-Man 165 and 166. These were the Reptile Wars that took place during 1976 in New York City. If you were there, well, you'll never forget when all of the dinosaurs came back to life and went tromping down the street. Now, this is a DC Super Giant, and this book is so cool because it contains all these just completely wild and bizarre tales.
The human flying fish. Now, I don't think that caught on.
No, not so much. Long John Silver's introduced that back in, I think, 97, and no one was really buying it, even with the free tartar sauce.
The shark with human brain.
Yeah, right. So why does his face look like that? Is
Larry,
that the only
get a close up of that?
Is this the only thing separating like sharks? As like that expression is a human brain? Right, exactly. Like ordinarily sharks can only make the face they make because their brain is this big.
It's like a
but
pea,
if you had a human brain, I mean, that is scarier when it comes right down to it. If you're trying to intimidate an Aquaman.
Now there's Cap. Marvel Super Action starring Captain America, the big premiere issue. So this is a key. This is number 1.
Well, technically it's a reprint. This is a reprint.
I got to remember where I'm at. I guess.
Well, it's just Captain America number 101. This was spun off of Tales of Suspense. And, it's pretty cool because Cap was pretty knee-deep in action as far as it goes. Very involved with S.H.I.E.L.D. at the time, Agent 13, all those cool and enigmatic subplots. But you got all this
Art Deco Iron Man face mask. I love that look with the points on the top of the face there.
Oh, yeah, and that's wild because at this point, Iron Man hadn't rocked that look in a long time.
Well, but
so
it's
Kirby
a reprint of back in the day. Right?
But this still came out long after that horn
Maybe
mask,
that's a mistake.
No, I think that Jack Kirby just did whatever the hell Jack Kirby wanted.
He was
when
the
it
king,
came
baby.
Down to it.
What he wants.
Yeah, exactly. And back problems. I would think that all of these guys would eventually develop them. Just taking on these posts. I mean, that's some rough stuff right there for sure.
Yes.
And then it is...
The Hulk, the Monster, and the Madman. Is that Doom?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at Doom just rocking the bolts right into his neck there.
No.
That can't feel good.
Well, you know, he can't really take your chances. He's got an entire kingdom to protect.
Yes,
and this was a nice little era where magenta was a popular color in comics. It really made covers pop, especially when your two main characters are green.
Yeah, that really works.
Comes right down to it. So you can see this thing just screaming off the newsstand.
I love the scroll here, the way that it's popping out.
Right.
A lot of people overlook lettering, but I think that's a huge part of making these covers pop.
And don't forget.
Still 15 cents?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then here's another Hulk, and I just had to include this one because, man, Hulk Abomination covers...
Yeah.
So fantastic.
And you got the Rhino behind him, too.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that crossover with the Spider-Verse there, you know. You got the Rhino, you got the Abomination, and he's in some serious trouble there, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Hulk and the Rhino mixed it up a couple times, and this was another cover that was used on one of those Mead folders.
I can see why.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great to have a Trapper Keeper with that on it. Remember those old guys?
Well, if you haven't covered it with Star Wars and Jaws and Planet of the
Puffy
Apes
stickers,
right? Yeah.
There you go. The story you never thought we'd dare to print.
This is their soft reboot of
Interesting.
Captain Marvel. Yeah, they weren't quite ready to do it, so they were testing the waters. This guy is Captain Thunder, from what I believe, and so this is a pretty cool look. Might be interesting to get a MEGO figure, you know, like a beater Captain Marvel, and, you know, basically
make him a
knock
Captain
up.
Thunder.
Yeah, sure, why not? There's room for everybody. And then our penultimate book.
There you go, World's Finest Comics, and that's number 140.
Great gosh, Batman, Clayface is transforming himself into Superman.
You do that pretty well.
Well, what value does that have in front of 10,000 people?
Right.
You know?
Well,
I mean,
you guess they'll get mixed up as they tussle.
but he's always kind of lumpy.
Drippy.
You know, right, yeah,
Drippy
yeah.
Superman.
Who's not going to know? That's my point. And then,
Finally,
wrapping it up with some World's Finest.
Revenge Squads. Die, Man of Steel, die. Our Superman Revenge Squad will destroy you.
Now, that's clearly Lex Luthor, right? I mean, he's bald and nasty looking.
Not every bald guy is Lex Luthor. I mean, I'm not Lex Luthor.
Do you want to kill Superman?
Occasionally.
Oh, well, then maybe he is Lex Luthor, folks. But who's this guy?
I don't know.
Because we've never
Magenta
seen him
bats.
come back. Right, yeah, exactly.
I
But that's
dig
pretty
the
trippy.
skull with the bat wings. That's tremendously cool.
Yeah. You know, if I was walking down the street, you know, and I saw a guy who looked just like me, only he was wearing a T-shirt with a skull on it, I'd be like, oh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I am definitely
it's that
boned.
or a goatee. You know.
Oh, yeah,
When they
well,
had the
sure.
goatee, that's. I mean, anyway. Well, guys.
You know, I was trying to do the mustache summer, to be honest with you, but my mustache just, you know, wasn't growing the way it used to.
My beard was way too hot for the summer, so I shaved it off. It will be making a return, hopefully. I feel like I wish I could be like Peter Griffin and just kind of and have it grow back out like Play-Doh, but.
Well, I'm thinking
Alas.
about drawing mine on a la Groucho Marx.
There you go.
How would that
That's a
look?
You could do the
Would you go
bat
for that?
stash.
Oh, that's true.
You could.
Right, exactly. All right, well, thank you for joining us.
Anytime, bud.
This has been fairly insane and a lot of fun.
Well, we try to mix it up, try to keep it interesting.
Oh, yeah, well, we do our best for you, the viewer. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. Cheers.